Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live coverage of Starlink 15-2 mission launch from West Coast, that is from Pad Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Dipta Maitra, performing the commentary for today's mission launch, and you are watching AstroYonder live.
Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around.
Houston, we see a nominal MECO. Welcome to space.
Hope you all are doing fine and excited for the upcoming Starlink launch. But one thing is certain, the excitement for Axiom 4 mission's return is still lingering. At least to me, it feels so. I hope you guys watched those smiling faces of Axiom 4 crew as they return back to Earth. But today we are super excited bringing you the coverage of SpaceX's 514th overall launch and the 86th Falcon 9 launch of this year. Back to the schedule again, we are having approximately 2 weeks from Crew 11 launch. Again, that time we will be having some excitement. Now, today's launch marks the 29th one from Vandenberg Space Force Base as they continue to build their incredible launch cadence for the year. Recently, SpaceX hit a huge milestone with the commercial GTO-1 mission, reaching 500 successful mission by Falcon 9 by itself. Last month, they had another huge milestone on June 12th, Starlink launch from Vandenberg, marking their 500th overall successful mission. And just a day later, with June 13th Cape Canaveral launch, SpaceX completed the first generation of their direct-to-cell constellation. So that's back-to-back historic milestones for the agency. Now, just a reminder, we have had launches for Starlink Group 11, 12, and 13, but Group 14 was entirely skipped as SpaceX jumped straight to Group 15, which already had 8 launches before today's one. The same goes to Group 17, with Group 16 being skipped entirely. We are currently standing by for a Falcon 9 liftoff at 7:05 p.m. Pacific Time, 10:05 p.m. Eastern Time from California, heading on a southeast trajectory for the Starlink Group 15-2 mission, carrying a batch of 26 satellites to low Earth orbit. I would like to welcome Angry Bird, one of our moderator here, joining us. Good morning, Angry Bird. I know it's early at your place, but thanks for tuning in. I hope you will be enjoying the stream, and I know why you can't hear me right now, but still, you can enjoy those liftoff views. Now, before we throttle up into today's mission details, a big thanks from all of us at the AstroYonder team, along with our incredible moderators, for joining us on this launch ride. We are truly fueled up by your presence and support that inspires us to work more hard and to meet your expectations. A big thanks to our amazing YouTube community for the encouragement that keeps our mission flying. and heartfelt gratitude for helping us to bring you deep dive launch coverages loaded with all the stats and insights. We are truly glad to have you on this journey as we count down to the liftoff together. Would really appreciate if you guys could join the chat and let us know from where you are joining us. Feel free to share any questions, suggestions, or opinion with us. There is nothing to be shy, just bring them on. We would love to hear from you guys. Now, just a reminder, is me only managing the launch coverages on my own. So if we by chance face any technical issues, please bear with me and be tuned in. There is absolutely nothing to worry about. You won't miss out anything until I'm there with you. I'll do my best to guide you through the Falcon 9 rocket launch happening in approximately 41 minutes from now. SpaceX is currently targeting a liftoff time of Falcon 9 from Vandenberg Space Force Base at 7:05 p.m. Pacific Time, 10:05 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, July 15th of 2025. Today we have just 54 minutes of launch window before it closes out at 7:59 p.m. Pacific Time, 10:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Now let's get into today's mission details. As we don't receive launch weather forecast for Vandenberg flights from 45th Weather Squadron, but reports suggest so far that the weather is looking good for today's Falcon 9 launch opportunity and the range is ready to support. Weather officials are keeping a keen eye on the weather for any probability of launch weather constraint violations, and the forecast calls for a temperature of 17 degrees Celsius, scattered clouds with 50% cloud cover, and a wind speed of 6 miles per hour. Now let's take a look at today's payload details for Starlink Group 15-2. Now, before discussing further about the payload details, just a quick reminder, today's payload does not include any direct-to-cell satellites, but it does consist of the newer optimized Starlink version 2 mini satellites. Today's launch is the 63rd dedicated Starlink mission of the year. Before this launch, SpaceX had already sent up 1,533 Starlink satellites in 2025 alone, surpassing the 1,000 mark for this year. That's really an incredible pace. With this launch, the count jumps to 1,559, and if we include the 22 version 3 variants launched, those Starlink simulator ones on previous 3 Starship flights this year, the count rises more with a total of 1,581 Starlink satellites launched this year. The overall Starlink count is past 9,100 as SpaceX continues launching more satellites, and we really must admit that it's an incredible pace SpaceX is maintaining. Starlink satellites built in Redmond, Washington. Today's payload consists of 26 Starlink version 2 mini optimized satellites. Each of these satellites having 5 advanced Ku-band phased array antennas, 3 dual-band parabolic antennas using Ka and E bands, and a dual solar array that spreads out to about 100 feet wide with a total surface area of 52.5 square meters. Not to forget, these solar arrays are also aero-neutral, which enable faster on-orbit maneuvers, and each satellite is equipped with high-capacity battery to provide power to the payloads. Each Starlink satellite features 3 space laser transponders, also known as optical intersatellite links, ISL in short, for intercommunication operating at speeds up to 200 Gbps. Starlink satellites make use of argon-fueled Hall effect thrusters for in-orbit maneuvering. Previously, which was based on Krypton, and this switch was mainly due to the cost effectiveness argon provides compared to Krypton. Now, just a quick short context to understand that why SpaceX made this switch from Krypton to argon. Relative to Krypton, the argon required to fuel Starlink version 2 satellites will be practically free. Now, to put it into perspective, fueling its next constellation of almost 30,000 version 2 satellites could cost SpaceX less than fueling 4,000 version 1 satellites, which are based on Krypton. Also, SpaceX claims that its second generation thrusters using argon has 2.4 times the thrust and 1.5 times the specific impulse of previously Krypton fueled thrusters. I hope that provided you some little more context about the switch between Krypton to argon for the thrusters. Now, today's payload will be deployed in an orbit with an altitude of approximately 266 kilometers and with an inclination of 70 degrees. But the operational orbit will be an altitude of about 535 kilometers with the same inclination of 70 degrees. Well, but just a fun fact, it is not at all related with Starlink, but just I want to let you guys know that most of the proliferated architecture National Reconnaissance Office satellites are having the same inclination of around 70 degrees. These optimized version 2 mini weighs approximately 1,268 pounds, equivalent to 575 kilograms, which is about 22% lighter than the original version 2 mini design. Just for the context, each of the unoptimized version weighs around 1,763 pounds, equivalent to 800 kilograms. Starlink satellite uses custom-built star trackers and these star trackers helps the satellite to find their position, altitude and orientation for optimal broadband throughput. Each one has 4 reaction wheels for precise attitude control plus a hot space setup for the reliability. Additionally, the Starlink satellite, they have an onboard autonomous collision avoidance system that uses US Department of Defense debris tracking database for avoiding collisions with space junks, other spacecrafts, and with other Starlink satellites autonomously. Now, to understand the importance of autonomous collision avoidance system, here is another quick short context. According to a SpaceX report published last year, Starlink satellites performs 275 collision avoidance maneuvers each day, and in that course, when this report got published, in that course of past 6 months, Starlink satellites performed 50,000 collision avoidance maneuvers. So I guess those figures can make you understand the significance of an autonomous collision avoidance system. Although that time when this report got published, they were having only Starlink version 2, not the optimized one, but now they are having the optimized version. Maybe they are having more uh, collision avoidance maneuvers as because these are optimized and they are more smarter than the previous version. Not to be saying that it's the same version, just a little bit of optimization are there, but I'm coming to that. Now let's dive in how the Starlink version 2 mini satellites are optimized and how that helps SpaceX to boost satellite count per launch. So firstly, the key optimization is 22% weight reduction, bringing each satellite's launch mass to approximately 575 kilograms compared to original version 2 Mini's 800 kilograms. Now, it's just a case of one Starlink satellite, but if we consider the whole batch, that really makes a huge difference. Now, this lighter design achieved through upgraded avionics, propulsion, and power systems, which allows more satellites to fit within the Falcon 9's payload fairing capacity. Additional enhancement includes a Doppio dual-band antenna for improved bandwidth and a mass-optimized components tailored for efficient stacking and deployment. So thanks to all this optimization, which allows Falcon 9 to carry up to 29 satellites per mission, around 6 more than the original version 2 Mini design. Now, just some quick fun facts. The first launch of Starlink version 2 Mini with 21 satellites took place back uh, in February 27, 2023 with the Group 6-1 mission launched from Cape Canaveral. Then with the Starlink Group 6-39 launch again from Cape on February 25th, 2024 last year, SpaceX increased the number of Starlink version 2 minis to be getting launched by 24 of them. That was the highest count at that time. But starting this year on January 21st, 2025 with Group 11-8, SpaceX launched 27 optimized version mini satellites for the first time. That record, once again, we know SpaceX is a record breaker, good in record breaking. That record was soon broken on March 31st, 2025 with the Group 6-80 mission, which carried 28 optimized version 2 minis. And with the most recent launch on May 4, 2025, the Starlink 6-84 mission, SpaceX set a new record with 29 version 2 mini satellites launched, marking the biggest batch of version 2 mini variant so far. With today's launch, it marks the 33rd time SpaceX launching its optimized version 2 mini variants, bringing the total to 895 number of satellites. And today is the 8th time they are launching a batch of 26 Starlink satellites. Now, let's talk about what might be on your mind. That is why optimized Starlink satellites and why such large batches we are seeing to be getting launched recently. SpaceX is increasing launching optimized version 2 mini satellites as a strategic move to expand and upgrade its satellite internet network. These satellites acts as a transitional solution until the larger version 3 variants can launch aboard Starship, which we already saw, but as of now we didn't saw them to get deployed. Hopefully in the upcoming Starlink Flight 5 we will be Starship Flight 10 we will be able to see those payload deployment. And as of now, so according to some speculations, I guess Starship Flight is scheduled for August 10. Now let's come back to the discussion for that why these optimized satellites are there nowadays. Now this lighter and more advanced version 2 mini offer roughly 4 times the capacity of earlier versions, allowing more to be launched per mission. That is up to 29 at a time, as I mentioned before, and SpaceX launched as of now one time a batch of 29 Starlink satellites, which reduces cost and accelerating deployment. This helps SpaceX meet rising global demand, replace aging or deorbited version 1.5 satellites, and maintain consistent coverage while building towards its authorized Generation 2 constellation of up to 30,000 satellites. Now, for an example, back in February 2024 last year, SpaceX announced deorbiting 100 older version 1 satellites due to a potential flaw, and the recent data shows that they deorbit approximately 4 to 5 satellites each day. So, this obviously creates a void in the constellation, which SpaceX addresses by launching the new version 2 mini optimized satellites with an increased uh, capacity. Now, hopefully, this explanation gave you a bit more insight. Now, let's take a look at the flight record for the booster supporting today's 15-2 mission. The booster with tail number 1093 supporting today's mission, a young booster, you can say, with only 3 previous flights in its record, including 3 Starlink missions. No other non-Starlink mission have been supported by this booster so far. Now awaiting its 4th flight, just 25 minutes away from now. This also marks its 4th mission being supported this year. The last mission supported by today's booster was Starlink 15-9 on June 16th of this year. The booster's turnaround time as of today is 29 days. Today's mission will be the 4th consecutive launch of this booster from the pad Space Launch Complex 4 East and will be its 4th landing on a drone ship to date, that is on, of course, I Still Love You drone ship. So that's all about the booster's flight record supporting today's mission. Now let's have a look at the bar graph showing number of Falcon 9 launches each year. Before this upcoming launch, SpaceX completed its 85th Falcon 9 launch for this year with commercial GTO-1 mission launching from Cape Canaveral on July 13, 2025. That obscures the number of annual launches made till year 2022. SpaceX is now having 24 more launches made in the year 2022. Now, with today's launch of Starlink 15-2 mission, the bar graph depicts 86 number of Falcon 9 launches for 2025. As of now, SpaceX is less than halfway to reach the number of launches made in the year 2023 and 2024. And with today's launch, SpaceX is only 10 behind 2023's total and 46 short of 2024. SpaceX is again aiming for another record-breaking year with around 170 launches, surpassing last year's 134 annual launches count. That's an ambitious target, but let's hope they pull it off. Now, if this stream fuels your love for space, give this stream a like. It's kind of a way of fine-tuning the trajectory of our mission to build a community with amazing space enthusiasts like you. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification so that you won't miss a single launch update. Here at AstroYonder, we believe together we will build the ultimate constellation of space enthusiasts. We would be super grateful for your kind support. Now, I will be skipping the pre-launch timeline since it's a typical Falcon 9 launch for Starlink with absolutely no alteration or deviations in any of the pre-launch events. You can see the pre-launch timeline getting live updated on the top left-hand side of your screen. However, there is one point I would like to highlight just for a quick knowledge. and which you might be already aware of, that the strong back reclining process at Vandenberg differs that from at Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center. Here at Vandenberg, we recline the strong back 13 degrees away from the Falcon 9, whereas at Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center, we recline the strong back about a degree or and a half or two, you can say, from Falcon 9. That's the only thing which is different in today's pre-launch schedule, as this is a Vandenberg flight. Now, please allow me a couple of seconds to check whether the liftoff time is still the same or not. As of now, SpaceX is sticking with their current targeted liftoff time. They are currently targeting a liftoff time of Falcon 9 from Vandenberg Space Force Base at 7:05 p.m. Pacific Time, 10:05 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, July 15th of 2025. Now let's go ahead and briefly step through the trajectory for today's Starlink mission. Falcon 9 leaving the pad from Space Launch Complex 4 East from the Vandenberg Space Force Base with the spacecraft on board, the batch of 26 Starlink satellites for a southeast trajectory along the coast of Southern California, heading to a low Earth orbit, that is to the 15th shell of second generation Starlink mega constellation, indicated by that green line on your screen. The red line you see indicates where Falcon 9 first stage will land after stage separation, just a little later leaving California's coast. Today it's, of course, I Still Love You droneship supporting the Starlink Group 15-2 mission here at the west coast. This will be the 141st landing on, of course, I Still Love You droneship to date, if successful. And some recovery specifics for you. The planned booster recovery is approximately 595 kilometers, with estimated fairing recovery approximately 650 kilometers downrange. And the second stage debris re-entry will be in the South Pacific Ocean on its second orbit. Now on your screen are some of the details related to the droneship as of today. We all know currently there are 3 in SpaceX's droneship fleet. Out of those 3, of course, I Still Love You is based here at California, and other 2, Just Read the Instructions and a shortfall of Gravitas, are based in Florida. While we anticipate the addition of a 4th droneship as promised by SpaceX earlier, possibly occurring late this year or who knows in early next year, because we are not getting any information regarding that. Now coming to the fairing recovery, the 2 halves of the payload fairing will be recovered slightly farther, approximately 55 kilometers downrange from where the first stage lands on the droneship, of course, I Still Love You, after they will smoothly splash down with the guidance of parachutes. SpaceX will utilize a recovery vessel to retrieve them from Pacific waters, and we know SpaceX manufactures the fairings in-house with a total cost for 2 halves is nearly $6 million. We don't pay so much attention towards the payload fairing. We are always more keen about the satellites inside, but just imagine $6 million for 2 fairing halves. So it's quite obvious that SpaceX aims to recover the fairing for repetitive use, which also mirrors their similar approach with the rocket boosters, upholding the motto of reusability and sustainability. Now you can see on your screen how a fairing recovery operation looks like. Although the recovery vessel on your screen is Dirk performing the recovery operations, but today's supporting recovery vessel is Go Beyond here at the Pacific. Other recovery vessels at the East Coast, there is Bob and Go Cosmos, are awaiting for their next assignment, while Doug is gearing up for the upcoming Kuiper Falcon 1 mission launching from Cape Canaveral. Now, if you feel we are adding value to your viewing experience, please consider giving this stream a like. It's kind of a fuel for YouTube's algorithm rocket, bringing in more space lovers, helping rocket fans to discover this stream out. And it also helps us to grow our community with amazing space enthusiasts joining us right now, just like you. Also consider about smashing the subscribe and turning on the bell notification, as we are burning the all-night propellant to bring you detailed streams packed with stats and insights. Your support would really inspire us to keep up with our hard work, to meet your expectations, and to bring streams packed with more stats and insights. Now we are approximately 9 minutes away from the webcast to begin. So let's just quickly get done with all the stats we have for you guys to share with. So coming to some stats related to today's mission launch. Today's launch marks 514th SpaceX's overall launch and the 63rd dedicated Starlink launch for this year. This is going to be the 501st Falcon 9 launch to date, although that is what officially being counted by SpaceX. But if we consider all of the Falcon 9 launches, it's past 500 mark a long time, at least 1 week, 2 weeks before. Fourth flight of this particular Falcon 9 booster supporting today's mission, with tail number 1093 being in action after 29 days. And by that I mean the booster's turnaround time is 29 days. Today's mission marks 86th Falcon 9 launch and SpaceX's 89th overall launch of 2025. That includes 3 Starship flights this year. This will be the 442nd Falcon booster reflight to date. That is a launch of a booster that has flown at least once before. This count is for the entire Falcon booster family. For specific Falcon 9 booster reflight count, I'm coming to that in a while. Today's launch marks the 135th orbital launch for SpaceX, launching from Space Launch Complex 4 East, and the 202nd overall orbital launch from Slick 4 East. With the success of this mission, SpaceX will have a remarkable 9,213 Starlink satellites, including 674 dedicated direct-to-cell satellites launched to date. So just imagine how many of them. They are just close to the 10,000 mark. Now moving on to some reusability statistics. This flight marks the 426th reflight of a Falcon 9 booster to date. So that's the count for a specific Falcon 9 booster. This will be the 141st landing on, of course, I Still Love You droneship. 4th landing of this first stage booster with tail number 1093 supporting today's mission. With this mission's first stage landing, SpaceX will be having their 384th overall droneship landing, marking 455th Falcon 9 landing so far, and 474th SpaceX's overall landing to date. Now I know some of you guys will be knowing that this is the not the count that for the Falcon 9 and SpaceX's overall landing. So just to make you aware that we are excluding the landing failure on Just Read the Instructions drone ship during this year's Starlink Group 12-20 mission, as it was only a partial success. So there's a one landing difference in Falcon 9 and overall landing stats compared to what SpaceX lists on their website. So please don't get confused. I don't want you guys to get confused with those numbers. Now here on your screen are some of the stats for droneship landings prior to today's mission. Once again, please note that these droneship landing stats on your screen right now are excluding today's mission. These are prior to today's launch. Now let's have a look into some key stats for SpaceX launches in this year, including today's mission. With today's mission, SpaceX will be having its 89th launch of this year, and out of those, 63 are Starlink missions, including this one. 23 were non-Starlink missions for commercial and government organizations, and 3 Starship launches. 82 of these missions using a reused booster, including today's one. Now, the geographical distribution provides us that SpaceX is having 57 launches from East Coast. On the West Coast, they will be having 29 launches with today's mission, that is from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base. And as of now, 3 launches from Gulf Coast at Starbase back in Texas, and 2 Super Heavy booster catches with Starship's 7th and 8th test flight. On Flight 9, no Super Heavy booster catch was attempted. For landings, they will be nailing it for the 84th time this year. Most of the landings are on drone ship with 74 landings. Today, of course, I Still Love You will be having its 25th landing for this year. As of now, a shortfall of Gravitas is leading among the drone ship fleet in terms of the landings made on them. For ground landings, they pulled off 10 of them, and some just like to update you guys, in order to retain the return to launch site, that is also known as RTLS capability, SpaceX is currently working on adding a landing pad at the East Coast, as SpaceX's lease for landing zone 1 and 2 expires in July this month. And I guess, according to some news and speculations going on, that it will be a single landing zone, unlike now where we have 2. Prior to today's launch, the success rate for ground landings is 98.90%. For drone ship landing, it is 96.96%, and the overall landing success rate is 97.33%. The landing success rate for this year dropped to 98.80% due to the failure of booster with tail number 1086 to land on Just Read the Instructions drone ship during Starlink Group 12-20 mission. About that, I was mentioning during discussing the landing stats. Today's mission is the 150th launch since last mission failure, that is the Starlink 9-3 mission that almost made Falcon 9 to be left grounded for approximately 15 to 17 days. Once again, this page of stats are prior to today's launch, and what we have is 149 successful launches since last mission failure with Starlink 9-3 mission, 59 successful landings since last landing failure with Starlink 12-20 mission, booster with tail number 1067 having the highest number of flights and successful landings with 29 times with previous Starlink mission launch of group 10-25, 360 missions with at least one reused fairing, and approximately 686 number of fairing halves were reused prior to today's launch, with a fairing half reused to reach 32 times. Now we are reaching to the moment where webcast will be beginning. Now moving on to this year's orbital launch, including today's one. With this 153rd orbital launch of the year, United States is leading with 101 launches with 66%, followed by China with 37 launches, Russia with 8 launches, 2 launches each by Japan and India, and Europe with 3 launches. Australia is just about to debut in the orbital launches for this year. Once again, they postponed the launch for the Ares rocket, now targeting July 17, no earlier than I must say. And this pie chart shows 2025 orbital launches by rocket variations. Falcon 9 gearing up for its 86th launch. Now, while you check out the pie chart, let me check if the stream is rolling or not, as it's about time for the webcast to begin. Well, it's live. That's nice, quite on time. So let's head over and please give me a moment to set things up. You are not missing anything, so just there is absolutely nothing to worry. SpaceX is currently playing some pre-launch tune. I will patch the mission audio feed once it drops. So there we go, we have the stream rolling. Now, adding value to your viewing experience here at AstroYonder is our top priority. If you felt we somewhat achieved that, I know maybe we are not meeting your complete expectations. Please consider liking this stream. It really helps others to find this stream. Also consider subscribing to our channel as we work hard to bring you streams packed with stats, details, and insight. We would be incredibly grateful for your support. So right now we got the live feed coming for the Falcon 9 launch, although it's quite foggy out there. We are currently pressing the strong back tanks for strong back retract process initiation, and that process is already initiated. Now, while we are watching this live view of Falcon 9, although I can see Falcon 9, I'm just seeing the fog around. But this one will be great during the launch. Whenever there is so much fog, it looks quite nice when Falcon 9 is launched. I know we all want to see Falcon 9 itself getting launched. That is obviously the most beautiful thing to watch. But this also sometimes gives us some good views. Now we are getting some feeble views of the Falcon 9. Now, while we are watching this live view of Falcon 9, a couple of important steps were completed. The spacecraft team switched to internal power a few minutes ago, and fueling of Falcon 9's first stage is finished. That means the RP-1 propellant is now on board. We are still loading liquid oxygen on both the first and second stages, and we'll be listening in a couple of minutes for the LOX load completion for both the stages. Today we won't be able to see how the strongback is reclining.
Stage 1 LOX load is complete.
As it's complete fog out there. And we got the call out for stage 1 LOX load completion. We are now waiting for the second stage lock slot completion that will finish up at just inside T minus 2 minutes mark. Currently, we are at T minus 2.5 minutes. The range continues to be green, and the weather is cooperating with us. I hope the weather would have cooperated a little bit more with us so that we could see Falcon 9. We'll be listening in a couple of seconds for lock slot closeout on second stage.
Stage 2 lock float is complete.
And we got the call out. Stage 2 lock slot is complete. Now all the propellants are on board the Falcon 9 with complete 1 million pounds of propellant. We are now beginning to vent down the pressure that was remaining in the tubing on the strong back. That's why maybe we will be seeing those white clouds coming out. And we got the call out for ground gas closeout. That's where we bleed the pressure off, and that cold gas, when it reacts with the moist humid air, that gives us that white cloud, which is an healthy indicator of launch coming up. Next event, T minus 1 minute.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
We got the call out. Falcon 9 flight computers on stage 1 and stage 2 are running to the last minute of count. Let's listen to the go call out.
LD is go for launch.
There we go, right on time. SpaceX launch director giving the final go for the launch. We are coming up on T minus 30 seconds right now. All systems continues to remain go for the launch of Falcon 9 and Starlink. Now let's sit back and enjoy the liftoff of Falcon 9.
T minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff of Falcon 9. Go SpaceX, go Starlink.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
We have liftoff. Falcon 9 has cleared the tower. Fortunately, right now we are able to see the Falcon 9. We got some good call out. Propulsion is nominal. Power and telemetry is nominal as well. We are into a throttle bucket. We are right now throttling down the 9 Merlin engines as we prepare for the period of maximum dynamic stress coming up.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
With that call out, we have exceeded Mach 1 on the Falcon 9. Falcon 9 is now traveling faster than the speed of sound as we have gone supersonic.
Max Q.
Max Q call out there. We are through the period of maximum stress on the vehicle. We have throttled the 9 Merlin engines back up to full power. We are getting some awesome views from the onboard cam on Falcon 9. Next call out, we are expecting for MVAC engine chill.
MVAC chill.
Right on time again. We right now have started to chill down the MVAC engine on the second stage prior to its ignition, which will be happening just after stage separation. Coming up, 3 events in rapid succession. The shutdown of main engine on first stage, that is main engine cutoff, also known as MECO, followed by stage separation and ignition of second stage MVAC engine. That event is known as SES-1, which will boost the payload into low Earth orbit. We got some good call out. The Falcon 9 is following a nominal trajectory.
Main engine cutoff.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition.
So there we go. We got those callouts for MECO, stage separation, and MVAC ignition back-to-back milestones. Next, expecting the confirmation callout for fairing separation. And on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see those.
Fairing separation confirmed.
There we go. We got the callout for fairing separation being successful. And on the left-hand side of your screen, you saw that how those 4 titanium hypersonic grid fins to slowly begin their deployment just after the stage separation. Now we are looking a view from the first stage as well as the second stage. Both the stages are providing spectacular views today. Now the first stage will continue under the guidance of grid fins and gravity as it descends back to Earth. It will continue to rise towards its apogee before descending back towards the landing on droneship. Of course, I still love you, stationed in Pacific Ocean. On the bottom left-hand side of the screen, you can monitor the altitude of the Falcon 9's first stage. What that call out was. Anyways, I guess 119 kilometers is the apogee for today's Falcon 9 first stage. Second stage, meanwhile, in its middle of 6 minutes of burn, is on its way into the parking orbit. Yep, 119 was the apogee for the Falcon 9's first stage before descending back to its landing site, that is on droneship. So far, the launch has been great. The first stage has done its job and it's on its way back. The second stage is running at full power and we are getting some amazing views. We are getting ready for the first stage to return to the droneship landing site. And during this part of the flight, stage 1 relies solely on its grid fins for steering as it returns to Earth. But occasionally on the left-hand side of your screen, we are getting the views for the Falcon 9. You might be able to see nitrogen gas bursts from the first stage for attitude control. These are basically used to position the vehicle as it heads back towards the droneship. Now just a heads up, when we will be hearing stage 1 FTS being saved, that indicates that the re-entry burn for stage 1 has been either initiated or accomplished, and when we will be hearing the stage 2 FTS being saved, which means that the second stage is up with the orbital insertion burn. Really, the second stage is providing, and we got that call out, stage 1 FTS being saved. That means the ray entry burn. There we go. We got the call out for stage 1 entry burn. With that confirmation, we just lit 3 of those 9 Merlin 1D engines on the first stage. We are rapidly slowing down the vehicle, as you can see from the bottom left-hand side of your screen from the telemetry.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
We got the call out for stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
Vehicles continue to follow nominal trajectories.
And the entry burn lasted around 28 seconds. Next, expecting the call out for stage 1 being transonic.
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
Stage
One transonic.
stage 2 FTS being saved call out. That means that the stage 2 went through its orbital insertion burn successfully. And also we got the call out for stage 1 being transonic. That means the first stage is now traveling slower than the speed of sound as it heads towards landing. Next, expecting the call out for stage 1 landing burn. And Angry Bird, there is nothing to be
Stage 1 landing burn.
sad.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
And we got the call out for stage 1 landing burn. With that center E9 engine now lit, we are slowing down the vehicle further more very rapidly. Should be seeing those landing legs deploy any seconds now. There we go, landing legs deployed.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And there's the confirmation. We have successfully made the 455th landing of an orbital class Falcon 9 rocket.
Back shutdown.
Coming up next, we got the call out for the second stage engine cutoff, that is SECO 1. And following this event, the second stage
Orbit insertion.
with the payload on board will enter into nearly 45 minutes of course phase. We got the call out for nominal orbit insertion as well. Really, I must admit, SpaceX are now providing more cool views with their webcasts. So these are the callouts we were waiting for. Second stage engine cutoff, that is SECO 1, and we got the call out for confirmation of good nominal orbit. Now about the payload deployment, which will be happening at approximately T plus 1 hour, 1 minute and 16 seconds. Today's launch marks SpaceX's 514th successful mission, with the landing marking their 474th success, and this also marks the 282nd dedicated Starlink mission to date. With that, we will wrap up our coverage for now. But before wrapping up, want to thank all of you wherever you are joining us for this live launch coverage we are providing. It is really impossible to do this broadcast without you and your encouragement. So heartfelt gratitude and thank you for your continued support for what we do here at AstroYonder. Be sure to check out our social media handle on X for latest happenings in space industry and updates on upcoming launches. We hope you enjoyed the stream. I really appreciate everyone joining us for today's launch. Wishing you a nice week ahead. Once again, thanks for watching. This is AstroYonder Live and me Dipta signing off for now, and we will see you soon.